All right, shalom, family. It's your brother Jacob, and I'm back. And I want to explain something to my fellow Israelite brethren. Now, this is all because of the things that this brother Demetrius keeps saying, pushing this Christianity doctrine. So I'm going to go a little bit into just a few of these verses in Romans 11. And actually, this Sabbath, I'm going to go into the whole chapter of Romans 11. But he keeps talking about Romans 11 and verse 13, where it says, "For I speak to you Gentiles, inasmuch as I am the apostle of the Gentiles, I magnify my office." And in verse 14, "If by any means I may provoke to emulation them which are my flesh, and might save some of them." So for some reason, he thinks that this is talking about other people. When you look at Paul and any of the letters that's written in here, they're all talking about things that come out of the Old Testament. This is not anything new. So I'm going to start off. Go to Deuteronomy 32. Be patient with me. I don't want this to be long, but I need to clear this up. Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 17. So this is what the Lord saw regarding Israel. Verse 17. "They sacrifice unto devils, not to God, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not." What's he talking about? He's talking about Baal and these golden calves that they worshipped in Egypt. That's what he's talking about. Verse 19. "And when the Lord saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be, for they are a very froward generation, children in whom is no faith." Verse 21. "They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God," meaning idols. "They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people." That's specific. With those that are not a people. "I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation." So it says, I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. Not all nations. A foolish nation. Let me show you what that's talking about. 1 Kings chapter 12 is where the nation of Israel split into two. It split into the kingdom of Judah and the kingdom of Israel. This is 1 Kings chapter 12 and verse 23. "Speak unto Rehoboam son of Solomon, king of Judah, and to all the house of Judah and Benjamin, and to the remnant of the people." So this is the split. Benjamin stayed with Judah. Later, after Rehoboam, or is it Jeroboam? After Jeroboam kicked out the Levites, they came back to be with Judah and Benjamin. They're the ones doing the sacrifices when you get to the New Testament. They're the ones teaching the law when you get to the New Testament. They are of the scribes and Pharisees, Judah, Levi, and Benjamin. Now, so here it is. Here's the thing right here, verse 28. 1 Kings chapter 12, verse 28. "Whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold." What's that? That's worshiping Baal. That's the abomination of the Egyptians. They worship the golden calves. and said unto them, it is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And he said, one in Bethel, and the other he put in Dan. Verse 30. And this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one, even unto Dan. So they worshipped idols. And we're still doing, this is the unfolding of what we read in Deuteronomy chapter 32. So because of this, the nation was split. Now, go back to Romans 11 real quick. And I have read verse 14. If by any means I may provoke to emulation them that are my flesh. So his flesh would be the southern kingdom of Israel, Judah, Levi, and Benjamin. Let me read verse 1. Romans chapter 11 and verse 1. I say then, have God cast away his people? God forbid, for I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. That makes him a Jew. And they were still in Jerusalem. Remember, until Acts 9, he was with the circumcision of the Jews at Jerusalem, and he was putting repenting Israelites to death. Now pay attention. So in Deuteronomy it said he was going to provoke them. Let's go back to it. Deuteronomy 32 and 21. So they have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God, those idols. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. So who is this foolish nation? Who is it that is not a people? Who is he talking about? Is he talking about all nations on the earth? No. The kingdom was split into two, into Judah and Israel. Now watch this. Those that are not a people, Isaiah chapter 7. And verse 8. Who is it that was not going to be a people? Isaiah chapter 7 and verse 8. For the head of Syria is Damascus. Damascus is the capital city of Syria. And the head of Damascus is Rezin. That's who the king was. And within 65 years, 65 years, shall Ephraim be broken, that it be not a people. So it's Ephraim. It's the northern kingdom of Israel. Just like Judah is the ones that led the southern kingdom, Ephraim leads the northern kingdom. So the northern kingdom would not be a people after 65 years. This is the foolish nation, because the nation was split in two. This is the foolish nation that he's using to provoke the southern kingdom, Judah, Levi, and Benjamin. But we got people that say Christianity and they believe everything that the white man says. You can make all the different books you want, break down the language all you want, but the Bible is consistent in what it's saying. The Lord deals with the 12 tribes of Israel. That's who he deals with. If you're confused by something, that's on you. It's not as it is written. Because if you go by as it is written, you won't fail. So Ephraim is broken, that it be not a people. Ephraim is who the Lord is using to provoke the southern kingdom to righteousness. Back to Romans 11. I know in the comment section there's going to be Christians trying to say whatever. Keep trying. Now I'm going to start up for some more context. Romans chapter 11 and verse 7. What then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for? But the election have obtained it. So the Lord is doing everything by an election. He's had an elect from the beginning of the children of Israel, which are the elect. He has an elect of them. And the rest were blinded. Go to 2nd Ezra chapter 2 real quick. Second Ezra chapter 2 and verse 40. Take thy number, O Sion, and shut up those of thine that are clothed in white. That's righteous, the repentant, which have fulfilled the law of the Lord. Verse 41. The number of thy children whom thou longest for is fulfilled. Beseech the power of the Lord, that thy people which have been called from the beginning may be hallowed. So back to Romans 11 verse 7 again. All the questions you have can be answered. You just have to be patient. Verse 7. What then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. If you can't see this, you're blinded. Straight up. These ain't my words. Paul wrote this. And where did he get it from? He got it out of the Old Testament. Verse 8, according as it is written, God hath given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear unto this day. Where is he getting this from? Where is he getting this from? Because see, some people will say, you have to stay right here. That ain't how Christ taught. That ain't how Peter taught. That ain't how Paul taught. They were all teaching out of the Old Testament. Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 9. Stay to yourselves and wonder. Cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. For the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and have closed your eyes. The prophets and the rulers, the seers, hath he covered. So who is it talking about? The rulers, the leaders. And you're going to see that again. Verse 11. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed. You don't have to understand him, brother. Verse 12. And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I am not learned. Back to Romans 11, because we're going to precept a few of these verses. So he's talking about the leaders. If you're paying attention, he's talking about the leaders, the rulers at Jerusalem. Verse 9. And David said, let their table be made a snare. Whose table be made a snare? And a trap, and a stumbling block, and a recompense unto them. Let their eyes be darkened, that they may not see, and bow down their back always. Who's he talking about? He's talking about the same people every time in these prophecies. He's talking about the leaders at Jerusalem. That's the context of this. Watch. Psalms. Which one should I go to first? I'll go to Psalms. Psalms chapter 69. Show you who he's talking to. Of the prophecy of David through the Spirit. Psalms chapter 69 and verse 21. They gave me also gall for my meat, and in my thirst they gave me vinegar to drink. This is a prophecy of Christ. Let their table become a snare before them. What's the table? The table is the Bible. It's the Holy Scriptures. Let the Bible be a snare and a trap to them. To who? The teachers of the law. The rulers at Jerusalem. Paul's flesh. Verse 23. Let their eyes be darkened that they see not, and make their loins continually to shake. Pour out thine indignation upon them, and let thy wrathful anger take hold of them. Let their habitation become desolate, and let none dwell in their tents. Verse 28. Let them be blotted out of the book of the living, and not be written with the righteous. It's talking about the leaders. One more precept on this real quick. Isaiah chapter 28. See, I don't have to look into the Greek. All of this stuff has been done many times. We just have to read as it is written. That's why you got all these new translations out, because they change things to fit the narrative. Isaiah chapter 28. Let me start at, I'm going to start at 12. This is, matter of fact, I'm going to start at 10. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people. Who is the he? The he is Christ. Because up above it said, who will he teach knowledge? It's talking about Christ teaching the disciples and the apostles when he was going to come on the earth. That's what this is about. Now, and he's going to speak in another tongue. Stop worrying about languages. Verse 12, to whom he said, this is the rest wherewith ye may cause the weary to rest, and this is the refreshing. Yet they would not hear. Who didn't hear him? Who didn't hear Christ? The rulers at Jerusalem. Verse 13, but the word of the Lord was unto them precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little, that they might go and fall backward and be broken and snared and taken. So it was the leaders that was not going to listen to this precept upon precept, and they were going to fall. They were going to fall. That's what Paul is talking about. The falling away of them. Of them is talking about the rulers at Jerusalem. You don't have to go into the damn Greek to understand this. You have to understand the Bible as it is written. Precept upon precept, which is the law. Verse 14. Wherefore, hear the word of the Lord, ye scornful men that rule this people which is in Jerusalem. Who was ruling in Jerusalem? The chief priests, the scribes, and the Pharisees. The same one through the Spirit, David wrote, let their table become a snare unto them. Now, back to Romans 11. Vanity that come out of people's mouth. Romans chapter 11. I'll pick back up at verse 10. Let their eyes be darkened, that they may not see, and bow down their back always. We know that's talking about the leaders at Jerusalem. The leaders of the tribes of Judah, Levi, and Benjamin. Verse 11. I say then, have they stumbled? Have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid, meaning no. but rather through their fall, salvation is come to the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy. So who would be the Gentiles that's going to provoke the southern kingdom to jealousy? It is the northern kingdom of Israel. As you look into prophecy, there's going to be a new covenant. And who's in that covenant? The house of Judah and the house of Israel. It's not the house of the other nations. Because the promises are to all 12 tribes of Israel scattered abroad. Once 70 AD came, Jerusalem fell and everybody was scattered abroad. So stop your lying. Verse 12. Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world, meaning the fallers of the rulers, be the riches of all of Israel that scattered abroad. And the diminishing of them, those leaders, the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness? For I speak to you Gentiles. He's speaking to the scattered Israelites. He's speaking to the Israelites at Rome. They're scattered amongst the Gentiles, amongst the nations. He's talking to them. The letter is written to the Jews at Rome. So, but when you see Gentiles, because of what you've been taught in Christianity, you go the hell off, thinking it's talking about other people. Well, give me the names of the nations of these people. What's their nationality? The ones that are being called Gentiles. If they're not Israelites, what is the nationality? What is the ethnic group that they come from? Why is it never mentioned? Why does it never say, you sons of Moab, you are now a part of the house of Israel? Get the hell out of here. Show me that. Show me that. Verse 14, if by any means I may provoke to emulation them which are my flesh and save some of them. Who would this be? That would be the southern kingdom, in particular right here, the rulers of the southern kingdom being provoked by the return of the regathering of all 12 tribes, in particular the northern kingdom. And Christianity is, there's a saying the kids got nowadays. If you start looking at Christianity, one word gonna pop to your mind: sus. Christianity is sus. That he might save some of them. So that provoking, that nation that the Lord is using to provoke them, meaning them rulers, is the northern kingdom of Israel. Let me see. Let me pull one more verse. Yeah, I'm just going to pull verse 26, just in case for the people that's simple or that can't figure this out. If this is talking about other nations, it will tell you who these nations were. But watch what this says. I'm going to read 25 and I'm going to read 25, 26, and 27. But I'm going to hit this again this Sabbath when I do class. Verse 25, for I would not, brethren, that ye be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceits, that blindness in part is happened to Israel. So who did the blindness happen to? It happened to them rulers. They were blinded. It happened unto Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles come in. The fullness of the scattered Israelites. Scattered. Circumcised or uncircumcised could be gathered in. Now, verse 26. And so all Israel shall be saved. All Israel. So if these Gentiles are not Israelites, why doesn't it mention who they are? Why doesn't it tell you that they will be saved? Why doesn't it say Moab will be saved? Ammon will be saved. The Girgasites will be saved. The Canaanites. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Sion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness for Jacob. Now, you Christians, the onus is on you. Prove who these Gentiles are. Prove what nation they consist of. And use this book right here. Use this. With that, I issue the challenge and I say, shalom.